Universities are obsessed, they say, with stamping out harassment. They've got whole programs dedicated to that. But not all harassment. Some is fine, it turns out. Ryan Wolf is a student at Wake Forest University in North Carolina. He says he's faced repeated harassment, verbal and racial harassment, for his views. School officials, though, say they're not going to do anything about it, probably because they don't like his views. Ryan Wolf joins us tonight. Ryan, what happened?
Thanks for having me on, Tucker.
Thanks.
So back before the 2016 election, we had a panel talk that was hosted by the College Republicans, Wake the Vote, and the Wake Forest Review, which is the conservative publication on our campus. And kind of before, during, and after this event, there were messages about me on social media and in group chats, and that were kind of trying to intimidate me. And then after the event, I was handed a box of saltine crackers, and in a group chat during the event, a student photoshopped my face onto a cracker. And so our school has fairly strict verbal abuse, harassment.
And by the way, just to pause, I assume that's a slur against your ethnicity, correct?
Yes, that's how it was intended, absolutely. And so we have pretty strict rules about harassment at our school, which, clearly don't abide by the First Amendment. But we were trying to hold all students to the same standard, so I reported the conduct actually at the behest of one of my professors who used to be an MSNBC host, Melissa Harris Perry. And so I sent in these reports, and the university basically, after several weeks, gave me these options, and I asked to press charges, kind of open a school judicial case against the students who handed me the box of crackers and photoshopped my face onto a cracker. Then after several weeks, I was told, in many words, because our dean of students, Adam Goldstein, really isn't a frank person, that President Trump's election somehow justified their behavior, even though the incident happened before Election Day, and that if I brought a judicial case, it would make things worse for me. We were heading into finals week at the end of the semester. I just wanted this to be over.
Wait, so Adam Goldstein, who's the dean, Dean Goldstein said, I just want to make sure I'm not mischaracterizing this, said that the president's election somehow justified this attack on you?
Yeah, he doesn't say things in short sentences like that, but what I took away from that part of the conversation was that he was trying to justify their behavior because it was a response to the election of President Trump.
How did, I mean, that's it, I don't even know what to say. What was
it doesn't
your
make any
response to that?
sense.
No, it doesn't. And I assume that they would never put up with this. If you'd been a different kind of person, this would have been swiftly punished, I assume, right?
Right, exactly. We had a racial slur incident just a few weeks ago, and let me be clear, I'm not equating what was said by this girl to what was said about me, but that student was asked to leave our school about 2 days later. This took several weeks, and they wouldn't even open a judicial case about harassment, even just kind of leaving the race part out.
So Dean Goldstein didn't say in that case, well, Barack Obama was elected president, 9 years ago. So it's sort of understandable that people might do that. That wasn't the excuse he gave in that case, I assume, right?
Oh, no, yeah. Well, this incident just happened a few weeks ago here. But, yeah, no, it makes no sense. I told him in that meeting that, individuals have to be held accountable for their individual actions under the rules we have at the school. And, if I had it my way, we would just abide by the First Amendment and we wouldn't have all these rules. But
right,
if we're going to have these strict, if we're going to have these strict rules in this bias reporting system, then everyone needs to be held accountable the exact same way.
Ryan, I really appreciate how brave you are to come on and how clearly you express that. And in a way, you're a credit to Wake Forest because you're impressive, but the school is obviously not living up to its own standards. So thanks for telling us about it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Well, today the biggest threat to your freedom of expression is not the federal government. It is powerful corporations, particularly tech corporations. They can fire you for speaking their mind. They do that. They can censor you online without you even knowing it. Dennis Prager is a radio show host. He knows a lot about this. He founded PragerU. Last fall, he sued Google, saying that YouTube is restricting his videos for being conservative, but of course they're not giving liberal videos the same treatment. That lawsuit is ongoing. Dennis Prager joins us tonight. Dennis, thanks for coming on.
Always good to be with you, Tucker.
So we've been following your suit, both out of affection for you, but because we think it has larger implications. Why is this important beyond just the suit itself?
The internet is largely controlled in terms of information by Google, which also uses and runs YouTube.
Yes.
So if they don't allow a free flow of information, it would be as if, I don't know, to make an odd analogy, your airport said only people on the left can fly airplanes, can be passengers on airplanes. That would be an equivalent. That is what is now happening. Our lawsuit is so much bigger than us. It's big in and of itself. We had 600 million views last year, and that's probably why YouTube is not a big fan of ours, because we really are effective. We have 4 Pulitzer Prize winners, and we have professors from Stanford, Harvard, Yale, giving courses, these 5-minute courses. They're very effective. They present a side of life that is never heard or almost never heard on our campuses. So they have decided that they will put, in this case, 40 of our 300 videos on the restricted list, meaning it joins pornography and violence being restricted. So, for example, we had a video by Victor Davis Hanson, who, if you know, is the opposite of a flamethrower.
Yes.
He is about as even-tempered a professor as exists in the world. And he gave a thought, why did we fight in Korea? That was on the restricted list. After a big battle, it's back on. Here, Alan Dershowitz is a liberal. He gave a course titled "The Legal Founding of Israel." That's on the restricted list.
So, are you convinced, after going through this long process and digging into the suit, that Google's motives are ideological?
There's no other possibility. We have videos on the exact same subjects as liberal and left-wing videos. They're never censored, and ours is. But here, by the way, is an amazing proof that is very recent and not something I could have told you the last time I was on your show. I debated a man from the left at a synagogue in San Francisco a couple of months ago, and that was put on the internet. They have put that on a restricted list. A debate in a synagogue known for pornography and violence. Needless to say, apparently they feel that I did better than the man on the left, and so they have put that on the restricted list. It's transparently ideological.
And are you convinced, and I'm sure you've gathered data on this, that they're doing this to a greater extent to sites on the right than they are to sites on the left?
Yeah, there's no question about it, and our lawsuit provides a chapter and verse on precisely that. There's no question about that.
Well, this is frightening then. I mean, this is the portal through which our information comes. Yeah.
I'm sorry, say it again?
Well, I was just saying, well, this is, I mean, Google, YouTube, I mean, these are the ways that people understand reality. And so if someone's got his thumb on the scale, then you're not getting all the information you need to make up your own mind.
Right. That's why this lawsuit is important in and of itself, and it is important for another equally important reason, the court of public opinion. We need to say, or Google needs to say, to be more precisely, Google needs to say, the truth is, we are not a conduit for free expression. We are here to, in fact, promote our views that are on the left.
Yes.
So either we'll get a win or we'll get honesty, and either way, it's a win.
It is a win, and of course, we're hoping for your victory. Dennis Prager, thanks a lot for explaining that to us, John. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tucker.
15 years ago, Facebook didn't exist. Today, it dominates our lives, shapes our conversation, even to some extent determines the way we think. Americans spend close to an hour every single day on Facebook, but the company wants more. Facebook is rolling out a new app messenger for kids. It's aimed at children as young as 6. More than 100 child development experts have warned that this is a bad idea. It could be a disaster. It serves to addict kids to social media earlier than ever. It has massive implications for our society. The company seems to be ignoring that. Jim Steyer is CEO of Common Sense and wrote the book Talking Back to Facebook, and he joins us tonight. Jim, thanks for coming on. So have I mischaracterized what this app is intended to do and who it's aimed at?
Nope. I think you nailed it, Tucker. I mean, really, this is about social media for the kindergarten set. It's basically getting hooked kids, you know, at younger and younger ages, 6, 7, 8, on social media platforms like Facebook. And it's crazy. We don't need it. And that's why all the experts came out and suggested that.
But we know that heavy social media use among young people leads to social maladjustment, depression, maybe even more grave things. I mean, the implication is certainly that it can really hurt people, gravely hurt them.
That's right.
So why would Facebook want to do this?
Because it's in their own economic best interest. I mean, truthfully, you're trying to hook people at younger and younger ages to the brand and to the concept. And so it's an economic incentive, but obviously it's missing out on all the negative unintended consequences that you just referred to. I mean, this is just a no-brainer for a parent. Why would you want your 6-year-old using Facebook or Instagram? So this is just should be a non-starter for parents, I think.
I mean, I'm sure R.J. Reynolds would like to come out with a new cigarette that's kindergarten-friendly, but we say, no, you can't. I mean, adults can decide to do that if they want, but our society does not allow
That's right.
cigarette makers to sell to children. Why are we allowing Facebook to do this when we know it harms them?
Well, I think that's a very apt comparison, and it's like, you know, candy-coated cigarettes. So you want to hook kids at younger and younger ages. So we actually at Common Sense think this is not a good idea at all. And, you know, it also brings up the broader issue of how do you get your kids, you're a parent too, Tucker, you know, how do you get your kids away from the screen, enjoying the incredible outdoors and world around them? You just don't want them sitting on social media platforms in kindergarten or actually at any age.
Yeah, I mean, we know that it affects kids' ability to read and retain information and to think clearly. So is there any legislative effort to pull back, or are we just passive in the face of the threat to our children?
No, actually, you know, Tucker, there's a lot of good stuff coming on this kinds of issue. There's stuff here on the West Coast in terms of looking at the addiction research that needs to be done around social media platforms. You're seeing much greater privacy concern now. You're seeing a number of different legislative efforts to try to either encourage or require companies to respect the young kids in their audience, and that's going to grow. We passed a bill called the Eraser Button here in California a couple of years ago so that kids who made dumb decisions could erase them. So I think you're going to see a growing public outcry, and I think why you're covering it helps in that as well.
I hope so. I mean, I can just see them marketing Google Maps to babies to learn how to crawl. We're losing a lot in this. And, Jim, thank you for starting a call about it. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having us on, Tucker, and thanks for your supporting it as well. We like it.
Always.